Hello everyone, my name is Naz and I welcome to you in my channel Naz Parshala. So today I'm going to take one more interesting story, and through this English story you will learn tenses, vocabulary, pronunciation and how to do perfect reading. So without wasting time, let's start. Episode 10. Difficulties. As Marmee had gone to take care of Mr. March, the girls became more responsible as the house was left in their care. All the work was divided amongst the sisters, but Beth did some extra work to help Hannah and her sister. Beth remembered that her mother used to visit one poor family every week and help them in any way she could. Nearly 2 weeks had passed, and Beth felt bad about being unable to fulfill her mother's wishes. So she decided that she would herself go and visit the needy ones. But she just needed someone to accompany her. When she came to know that the baby in the Hummel family was sick, she wanted to aid them in any which way possible. She went to her sisters, but they could not go as they were very busy. Jo was engrossed in her book, Meg was resting in her room, and Amy was playing her piano. Beth was disheartened to see her sister's careless attitude and went outside in the cold through the door by herself to help the Hummels family, to help the Hummels baby. She came back to her home after an hour, shattered and disappointed. Seeing her gloomy face, to came up to her and asked, "You look so pale. What happened? Tell me." The Hummel baby is no more. He had scarlet fever, and the worst is that he died in my arms. Beth cried. "That is terrible. Why did I not go with you? We might have saved him. If this had happened to you, I would be broken," Jo exclaimed. Beth comforted Jo, telling her that she had taken some medicines and was feeling better than before. Jo still was not satisfied and asked Hannah to look after Beth. Hannah assured her that scarlet fever was not that dangerous if treated in time. And according to her, Beth was fine and there was no need to worry. She then suggested that they should call Dr. Banks and then could send Amy to Aunt March's house to protect her from catching this disease. And Meg and Jo could stay at home and look after everything. Amy was uncontrollable. When she came to know that Beth was ill, she wept and declared that she would not go to her aunt's house and preferred fever over separation. Laurie handled the situation quite well and promised to tell her for a ride every day, and finally Amy gave in. The doctor was then called and confirmed that Beth really did have some symptom of scarlet fever. Everyone agreed that this should not reach their mother, as she would be worried if she found out about Beth's illness. As time passed, Beth's condition worsened. Then what the sisters had thought. Only Hannah and Dr. Banks knew the real extent to which she was ill. She used to have fever fits for some moments, and then she would again sink into oblivion. She would not be able to recognize people around her. Everyone was upset and worried as to how she would recover. Jo and Meg used to take care of Beth and never left her bedside, and even Laurie regularly came to see how she was doing. It was during the first week of December that the doctor came and examined Beth. He didn't look satisfied with the results. He informed the March sister that if Mrs. March could be called, they should call her as soon as possible. Joe could sense that this was something serious and ran to write a letter to her mother and then posted it quickly. While she was coming back, she met Laurie, who asked her where was she going and why did she look so tensed. Joe started weeping and told him everything. The doctor said Laurie could not believe if a fever could cost someone her life. Assuring Joe that everything would be fine, he informed her that he had already written a telegram to her mother, telling her about Beth and she would be there with them soon. Joe stopped crying and held Laurie's hand, thanking him for being such a good friend, supporting her and her family during their hard times. Joe hugged and kissed him for his kindness. She was glad that Laurie did so much for them. Laurie even promised to go and get Mrs. March from the station at 2 in the morning. They become hopeful in saving their dear sister Beth. Everyone in the house was glad to hear that Marmee was on her way back home. Joe and Meg remained near Beth if she would need anything. Even the doctor could see a ray of hope and predicted that Beth's condition could be better by midnight. Joe and Meg could not sleep that night and waited for the clock to strike 12. When it did, they went and checked Beth, but there was no change in her condition. Even after an hour, her condition didn't change. Laurie had left for the station to get Mrs. March. At around 2 in the morning, Joe sensed that Beth looked better and ran to call Hannah, who instantly joined her. She checked Beth, touched her forehead, and happily announced that the fever had subsided and Beth was sleeping now. Meg and Joe's happiness knew no bounds and they hugged each other, relieved that Beth had been saved by God's grace and mercy. Now they were tired but wanted their mother to come to them as early as possible. After waiting for a few minutes, the doorbell rang and Laurie beamed and announced Mrs. March's arrival into her own house. For watching. If you like my videos, please hit the bell icon for more updating videos. Like, share, comment and subscribe my channel Nas Parshala. Thank you, take care and be safe at home.